Sadie.
How we doing? Got my vise done. Looks pretty good. I got this set screw. I drilled and tapped this grade 8 bolt to make it nice and tight with a little jam nut there. I'll tell you, without it, this thing is loose as can be. So just have to keep the 5/8 on hand. Thought about welding a T onto this, but then probably wouldn't be able to get it tight enough. So, but this works pretty well. I mean, if I'm ever transporting it, works pretty good. So now my vise is removable. I threw some of that undercoat paint on it that I had left over, and works pretty good. So now I'm going to start making. I made a little handy stick electrode holder, which is cool. Just a piece of, just a scrap piece that I had laying around because I put the electrode. Oh, another thing, on this plate here, I ground off the bottom of the vise and ground off an area around here so that I can clip my negative lead on my welder. I might grind a little bit off this corner here, so I can clip my negative lead if I'm welding anything in the vise to get continuity to go through the vise. It's kind of important. But when I do that, the whole trailer becomes hot, so that's why I made this holder, because if I were to lay it and it were to strike the trailer, you know, it can hurt my eyes. Yeah, I got this Harbor Freight trailer dolly for really cheap, for 20 bucks, because one of the, well, that the bar right here in the middle was bent, and I just put it in a vise and bent it back, so I got it for cheap, and I really needed one to get that boat in my shop, so I bought it, and it was just a total piece of junk, but I needed one in a pinch. The tires suck, but either way, it was sitting too low. So I grabbed a piece of scrap that I had from fixing the stove and welded it on there, and the ball was way too low. The trailer jack wouldn't go low enough to sit on the ball, so I cut the piece out that was originally on it, which is that piece that held the 2-inch ball. So I cut that out and bent these up, and I got a piece of 1/4-inch plate, which is way overkill, but it's going to work, and I'm going to raise it up about 3 inches and make the hole big enough for 7/16 so I can move this trailer if I need to wiggle it back. This trailer is 2 5/16, so I'll be able to wiggle this trailer back in the corner if I need to. I got a bunch of junk back here, so I might do that now. So something interesting I figured out. I wanted to switch my torches over to propane because acetylene is so expensive, and I thought I had to go buy a propane regulator, which is false. I just used my acetylene regulator, screwed it into the propane bottle, and had to go buy a new tip for cutting propane, which was only a couple bucks. This is I think this is a Harris torch. You just have to know what torch you have. I went to Keen Gas, which is my local welding supply. And this is a number 2, which is rated to cut 2-inch steel, which is overkill, but I use it to heat more than anything. And but that's pretty much it. You can use a acetylene regulator and propane bottle. It's reverse threads. It's the same. And the only other thing that I've heard is it's better to use grade T hose, which I already had. If my damn camera would focus, well, it won't. But either way. Because liquid propane can degrade grade R hose, but so you don't need to go buy a propane regulator. You can just leave it, and it works pretty good. It's a little different than acetylene, and obviously you can't weld with it because there's no shielding gas, but you can heat and cut with it pretty well. And there's a bunch of videos out there that go through it. I'm not going to go through it, but just a neat little tip. Propane's much cheaper and easier to get. You do burn a little more oxygen, but you know, oxygen's cheap. I think that's 125 cubic inch bottle, or cubic foot bottle, whatever it is, and I think it costs $20 to fill. And I get 2 propane bottles out of 1 oxygen, which is, just about the same as acetylene as far as I know. But I thought that was pretty interesting. So I'm gonna finish heating this thing up and bending it and finish this piece of junk trailer dolly. Okay, I think I got it where I want it. Kind of feel like I'm wasting this nice piece of 1/4-inch plate, but I need this thing, so that's how high I'm rising. It's probably more than 3 inches, but the more the better. It was way too low. I can't believe they even sell those things. Harbor Freight's a crapshoot. Some of their stuff's good, and some of their stuff just sucks. But this was worth it. I mean, if the thing breaks, I can use the tires for a welding cart or something. I mean, it is what it is. So go over here and fire the welder up. See if it's got any juice. I had the battery charger on it last night. A little choke. Whoop. I used all my juice. I have to go to engine start. I need to replace this battery. Just can't quite get around to it. Use the welder enough. Well, we got her welded up. Not the prettiest of welds, but I can't zoom with my camera anyway, so you don't get to see. But it warped a little bit. It's not quite top. It's not quite level, but it doesn't really matter because that ball's be high enough, and it'll still work. I didn't want to waste too much time on this. I used some old 6011s, I think. I don't know what size they are. They're little. They're like something 64ths or whatever. I think I did it at about looks like I had her on 85 amps. It was burning really hot, but I just stayed in I got a 1/4-inch plate on there, so I just stayed on the thick side and let the puddle fall. But I got her all the way welded around. I mean, it's on there. If anything's going to fail, it ain't going to be that 1/4-inch plate. I think those joints where I bent it, that would fail, or this piece right here would fail because there's nothing supporting it. And if it does start to sag, I'll put in a little chock right there or something, just rig something up. So now I'm going to cut my hole in the top here, big enough for a 2 5/16 inch ball, so I can just change them out. So I'll do that. Well, I got the ball mounted on there. Got a hole cut in it. Ball was that's the junkiest looking ball I've ever seen. That's actually a bolt that threads into the ball. I've never seen one like that, but either way, that's her, and she works. I just went up to the front of the trailer and tried her, and this trailer's pretty low, and I don't have 2 5/16 ball here, so, but essentially it's at a good height. The boat, it'll work good for the boat. So, and I needed one, so I had to make modifications as per usual. But that's her. Thanks for watching.